You're listening to Chaotically Disciplined with your host, Shannon and Zaida, two goofy real life rave moms where we chat about fitness, parenthood, and our love of music festivals.
We'll show you that you can have mid time management skills, occasional meltdowns, and be disorganized as fuck, but still always get shit done.
Today, we're going to be talking about raving and why it's so important to us, music and how it ties into our personalities, and just why we thrive because of music festival lifestyle, you know?
Yeah. Like what it means to us as far as like individually as people, and then how it affects parenting, how it affects our fitness goals, like that, all of that, like what it means to us individually, but then like together as cousins, like our partnership, but then also our other relationships, friendships, other things in life, like how it affects all of that.
And business too, like
And
that
but
your
well, obviously
growth.
business for
Oh,
both of us.
hell
Yeah,
yeah.
business, literally everything. It's my whole personality.
Yes. And you were going to live music for a while before you started going to EDM events.
Yeah, so like we talked about in the first episode, music is super important to both of us. Like we come from families where like we just really enjoy good music. Like both of our moms were in marching band, like our siblings were in band. Like it's just we've always liked there's always been any art form, like very artistic, creative people on that side of the family that we're related by. So music appreciation has just always been a thing, and like my favorite thing to do forever before I even got into raving was like, me and my husband would go to concerts, usually like metal, rock, like all genres, anything from like Def Leppard to Slipknot. Like we've seen like all kinds of subgenres under like rock or metal, and we still love that stuff. We don't go as frequently to that anymore because of EDM being part of both of our careers. So like those are the events we go to, but that has always been like a hobby or like a passion, a thing that I enjoyed doing. And so that part is not like a strange new thing, like going to music festivals for me. And I feel like that's the same for you. Like how did you come into like specifically EDM festivals? Like what were you doing before that?
Well, honestly, I really wasn't going to live events in my teens just because, like, there was no event that I could go to really. I went to my first Dead Mouse show when I was about 18. And so I was listening to the music leading up to that, but then, I started hearing from different friends who were going to the events. I'm like, okay, maybe I can actually do this. So I just kind of joined in over time, and eventually I started going to more like smaller shows when I was living in Boston. And
Mhm.
then once I moved to Miami, actually had like the initiative to buy a festival ticket. So it was all influenced by others, honestly, because it was something that I didn't really like see that I could do by myself.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely always have been just sort of obsessed with music. Like my friends make fun of me growing up because I never knew about any of the TV shows that they were talking about. But I would be like, have you seen the music video to this song? Like no one could relate. Like wake up in the morning before school so I could watch MTV jams and MTV
Man, I miss that.
Yes, and then the reggaeton Spanish version of MTV. So I was always on that. But I don't know, I've just always had this, like, that it I can't remember the term, it starts with an S, about when you get chills when you listen to music. I
I
experienced that.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say it right. It starts with an F. It's like Frizon.
Yeah, yeah,
Frisson. Like, I feel like I'm not saying that right.
close enough. But I have that when it came to, like, listening to anything, like, orchestrative or, like, piano, and then I had that same
Mhm,
experience happen when I started listening to trance music, and I was just like, "Wow, this is, like, a crazy experience to listen to this. Not only do I like it, but, like, I'm having, like, a body reaction to this music because it's so beautiful." So I feel like that kinda, like, connected me on a deeper level to keep seeking the music, and then I didn't really know too many people that liked it in college, and then once I started going to music festivals, I was just like, "This is the shit," because I can totally be myself and, like, party and have fun. It's all about having fun and just being in a community that is doing the same, that is on that
mhm.
same level. So, not
Yeah,
just about, like, partying, I wanna get drunk and all that. It's just like, no, I wanna hear the music I love really fucking loud.
yeah. Yeah. And that was kind of like what I was the point I was gonna make is, like, as far as why did I like, I've always enjoyed rock concerts and I still do, but you don't get sucked into, like, that. There's not, like, a culture surrounding that. And maybe there is, but it's not what it is with, like, the EDM and, like, raving community, that it's not the same culture. Like, you can go to a rock show and have a good time, and I'm not gonna say like, are more people probably more drunk and belligerent there than EDM fests and shows? I would have said yes in the past, but, like, now that EDM festivals are becoming more mainstream, I don't know if that's necessarily the case because you see crazy stuff break out all the time at
Right, any
festivals
type of
now. So, like, maybe back when we started, that was the case. I don't know if that's the case now, but you can still have a great time, and people are still friendly and nice at rock shows and concerts and festivals. However, there's just not that same connection that you get with people. Like, people
people are
are even
looking
if
out
they're
for each other.
friendly and polite,
Yeah.
it's still more closed off. Like, you're not I haven't met somebody at a rock concert in a bathroom line and, like, started following them and, like, we're still friends and talking, you know what I mean? Like, it's
So
not
true.
or met somebody at a rock concert and actually, like, we just start chatting, exchange numbers, and then go to another show with them, like, become friends long distance. That has never happened, and those things happened like, at my very first festival at Ultra. Like, there's a girl I follow, I literally met her in the bathroom line, and, like, I've watched her have 2 children all
Amazing.
on Instagram, and, like, I don't know if I'll ever see her again, but, like, if I did, we would, like, totally hang like friends. Like, that's the kind of stuff that happens at these experiences, and so that was my first thing was, like, people are just so friendly and, like, open and accepting, and people outside of that will be like, "Well, oh, yeah, of course they are, because everybody's on drugs." Like, yeah, they're gonna be really friendly. While that might be true for some of the people, that is not the case. The people that I've connected with, when I've connected with them, like, that's not why we were connecting. Like, it was not during a time where anybody was, like, fucked up on something, It's those connections were made when everybody's sober, when it's,
Yeah.
like, a legitimate, like, "Hey, there's a vibe here. You're cool. Let's hang out or let's go to the set. Like, let's exchange numbers or Instagram and keep, like next time you're at a festival, like let's try to meet up." So like there's just I just have never had experiences like that. And that's why it pulled me in right away was because the connections you make with people are really genuine. And I've never had that anywhere else at like a concert like a festival experience is just different. The people that go there,
They
like,
have their guard down,
their
and now
guard is down
you can let your guard
100%.
down.
Yeah. Their guard is down. I feel like everybody is there and they feel like they can be themselves. And that doesn't mean that it has to be like the most extreme stuff. Like, obviously, there's extreme. Themselves is like, pasties in a thong. That is me. This is the only place I can do that. Nobody gives a crap, which great. But other people don't that's not what it is. They can really, like, let go and be themselves however that looks like, and I wasn't aware that that was something that I wanted until I saw it, and I was like, "This is really cool." I think too, and this is how it ties into, like, the fitness component for me, is I've always been very self-conscious, body dysmorphia, and I think there's everybody deals with it on some level, but mine has
Yeah,
always been too extreme, really hard on myself,
I've
and
experienced that too, though.
you've experienced it too. And so going into a festival, and I was not ever like we talked about in the past episode, like in like bad shape, but going to a festival and seeing people of all different shapes and sizes wearing whatever they wanted and like just owning it and being happy. It did a couple of things where I was just like I'm the one holding me back from like wearing these clothes or being comfortable and confident. Like that's a mental thing. That confidence is a mental thing first. Like you don't have to look a certain way. Like you're putting that pressure on yourself.
Mhm.
It kind of made that start to click. That wasn't like an immediate thing. Like that's a work in progress that I'm still, constantly like trying to reaffirm. But it was like, you need to quit putting this pressure on yourself. Cause look at all these people that look all completely different and they're having a great time and they're wearing stuff that you feel like you could never wear.
They have
And they
sexy
look
energy,
great and
basically.
they don't care. Like they're confident. Their confidence is like very attractive. Like it doesn't matter what their body type is, right? So, it made me start to realize that, and then it made me start to be like, "Okay, well, if I have things that I do want to work on, now I have a goal tied to that." So, if there are certain aspects of my physical body that I would like to improve, now I have a goal tied to that, and how do we get there? And so now that was the motivation.
Mhm.
It was the motivation, but it was also at the same time it's sort of hard to describe, like, well, how can you be like, "Oh, you can look like whatever, you don't have to have a certain body type and be confident how you are," with also with, like, "Well, no, but I have this goal and I would like to look this way in this thing."
One way to orient your goal, I think, like, it's the best way because it's your
Right.
favorite place to be, and then to orient your goal towards that, and then obviously you could have done all the body composition,
Mhm.
goals as well, but I love that you created, like, your own route to okay, I'm gonna have a healthy lifestyle, still achieve my goals with strength and conditioning in many different ways, but I'm gonna gear it for the year. So I have this like set goal of, XYZ, but it's towards something that you're going to enjoy and make you enjoy it even more because you're healthy going into it and you feel good
Right.
on multiple
Right.
levels, not
And
just physical.
that's definitely what it's become now. I think initially it was like a physical thing. Like, okay, I really want to be able to wear this really cool stuff that I see these other
Yeah, and
people
that's
wearing.
great.
And for me personally, I'm not comfortable wearing that unless I feel I look like there's a certain body that I feel the most confident in that kind of goes along with that. So like that's what it initially was. Now that I've done it and become a trainer and obviously my mindset about it is very different. Yeah, it's cool to look a certain way and have those goals, and I don't think there's anything wrong. I think people shit all over physique-based goals, like aesthetic goals, like there's something wrong with wanting to look a certain way. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like there's always extreme ends of the spectrum for any of this stuff. Like,
True.
do I think that that should in the end be your only goal and your main driver? No, it can't be if you want to keep this up long term. Like if you want like a quick thing, then whatever. But really, what happens is it usually starts off as an aesthetic goal for most people. And then they realize the work that goes into it just to maintaining that, and that they need to have something else behind the scenes that is like the actual real reason they're doing this, which is like long term health, feeling better at the festivals, recovering better, like all of that stuff.
Being able to dance pain-free, like and I
Right.
and I think too, like, it almost reminds me of what it's like to plan an outfit. Like, you're prepping and, like, you want it to look so cute and you get it all together, all the pieces, and you're like, "Dang, I look fabulous today." And then you go in, you forget the outfit because 'cause you're looking at the
Yeah. You're
artist
like,
and you're with your friends.
right. Yeah, or like and me and you are so guilty of this. Like I am so like particular about planning the outfit. Like we stress about it. We do it for months. Like, okay, what accessory? Da 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 da. You get to the festival, you don't take one fucking picture in any of this. So like no one sees it. And like the whole time in your brain, you're like, I'm gonna get so many cute pictures of this. But like you go and you have a great time. It's still just part of that. But you have a great time because you also like part of that culture for some people is is the outfit. The
It's
outfit planning, feeling
creativity,
good in the
though.
outfit, like, that's part of the whole experience of you, like, enjoying it.
Yeah.
So, even if you don't get pictures of it, I still think that that's fun to, like, plan that, and, for some people, they don't care, and that's not part of it for them, but for, like, me and you, that is part of the whole experience and the enjoyment we get out of it, and training towards that to feel good in whatever that outfit is at the festival as part of the
Mhm.
whole experience, like, that all got, like, tied in for, like, both me and you. Like you said, it's cool to tie that goal to something like your physical goal to, like, a festival, like a time-based goal. Everybody needs a time-based goal. For us, it's festivals usually. For other people, it could be, like, a wedding or, like, any vacation away, like, they wanna look good by this birthday or a photo shoot or everybody people do better with a time-based goal. So for me, my time-based goal was festivals. Was
Mhm.
at first it was EDC because that was like the one we would do for the first few years when we got into this. Um so it's good to have that time-based goal, but then it also because of what the goal is and like where it is, it's a festival experience where it doesn't really matter what you look like. Yes, you have that goal that you've done for yourself and it's important to keep those promises you make to yourself when you set a goal, like take it seriously because that helps with confidence. You know that when you say you're going to do something, you do it. But because of the environment that you're shooting towards, it does take some of the pressure off. So if you don't exactly hit what you were shooting for, or if something happens and you don't quite get there in time by the festival, it's fine. You still had something to train towards. You still were working towards better health. Like you can't lose. Even if you don't look how you wanted to look physique wise, you're still going to have a good time because the environment is so accepting. So that's why I always joked. I train like a bodybuilder. I've even prepped for festivals, like done a prep, like someone would prep for a show, but done a festival. So My whole thing, kind of the brainchild initially of Fit to Rave is I train for festivals like bodybuilders train for shows. The festival is my show. I would rather spend on a festival ticket, in a hotel, and the festival outfits and all of those things, and not have to be racked and stacked against other people's bodies. I'm not throwing shade on people who do that. That is a sport. I have friends who do it. I think that's really cool, but like that's not where I want to spend my money.
Right.
That's not for me.
But I love how that you've taken that concept and used it for something different because it's still like you're accomplishing something, but it's just so creative. Like your brand is so creative in that way. It actually applies to anybody and everybody at the
Mhm.
festival.
Yeah.
And I think it's just amazing. And I just hope more people can get on board with it because having music festivals of all types, it really doesn't have to be an EDM one.
Mhm.
It can just give you it's a fun, lighthearted goal in a way to
Yeah.
have.
My whole concept or mentality that I would love to impress upon anybody is be disciplined, take care of your health, be a goal-oriented person. Don't just be like meandering through life with like a loser mentality. You shouldn't do that. But again, I don't operate in like black and whites. There's always this like middle gray area for pretty much everything. And that's where like people need to be. Like take it seriously, take care of your health, take care of your body,
Mhm.
but know how to have fun. Like don't take it too seriously is what I'm saying. Like
You have to be in the moment once you're
be
there.
in the moment, like, enjoy the festival, eat the fucking chicken tenders and pizza at the festival, have some drinks, please. Like, you're gonna be okay. If you're doing that all the time, that's the problem. If you are bringing meal prep into a festival and freaking out because you're missing your workouts, that's also a problem. That's not health either. There's these extremes on opposite ends, and neither one of them are healthy. So that it's that middle ground. Have these goals. It's cool if you tie these goals into like having fun with it. So that balance is really important to me. I try to, even when my clients, like if I teach them how to track macros or try to get them to weigh in more frequently because they just don't want to weigh in at all. Or like when I try to get them to do more discipline and things, I will still scold them if they then take that in the opposite direction, where now they're frantically obsessing over it in the other direction. Like they go from not doing it at all to now caring too much to where like this is stressing them out. I'm like, okay, okay, okay. This is also not what we want. We don't
Mhm.
want that either.
Right.
Well,
And I
pull
think it
back.
happens too because you feel like when you get towards that edge of it, it's because you have the control in a way
Mhm.
over those variables, or you think you do to a certain point, you do. But to a certain point, you don't because obviously all the hormones fluctuating, life, all those things. But I feel we grip onto things once we start becoming disciplined, sometimes too hard, and we want to get these results in this amount of time. You have to loosen the grip a little bit because anything with life, if you try to control too much, it's gonna work against you.
Yeah. I think with when it comes to stuff like having fun and being healthy or fit and in shape, we're we're fed this stuff all the time from so it's kind of like a thing everybody has to unlearn where you can't do both. Like you can't have any alcohol or sweets or carbs are bad, or if you're having fun, you can't be healthy. Operate in this middle ground. It also shouldn't be like the thing you're doing constantly all the time because you're burn yourself out and you're partying every weekend. Again, that's still going to be a problem for
Right.
people. So that's a sporadic thing, right? So if you're doing it the right way, you should be pretty diligent for the most part and in control of like health and your nutrition and stuff for all the rest of the year when you're not at a festival. So then when you're at a festival, you can fuck off and like do what you want and not stress about it because you've established this routine, like this healthy lifestyle that like a weekend away is not going to it's not gonna make any sort of noticeable difference. Anything that is in the negative will be negligible in that short a period of time. And then you have like a routine that you'll actually miss. You'll be so used to your healthier routines that like when you do the fun stuff, it'll be fun, but there will be a limit. And that's how it's happened for me. And years ago it wouldn't have been like that. But if I'm in Vegas for a certain period of time, not eating normally, there's a cutoff by day 5 where I'm like, "I need to eat a green vegetable right now and a piece of chicken," because, like,
Someone
my
needs to
mental state
celery.
like, even though I know that, like, I look fine, you crave that healthy lifestyle when you're having fun and not in a punishment way. Like, "Oh, I've been bad. I need to go back and do this stuff." It's you like that lifestyle. You feel better on it and you've had your fun, but you know you can't be doing that consistently because it makes you feel good for a certain period of time, and then there's like this overstep of like you don't feel good anymore. You feel like trash and you want to go back to your healthy lifestyle. So that striking that balance is like what I want everybody to come to. And it took me a while to get there. So like the goal when you hire a coach is like not to have somebody who's like never gone through those things. Like they should be really realistic and real with you. It's someone who can like hopefully help you shortcut through those extra steps that they probably had to go through to find their way, like to expedite the process so that you can get there faster. But yeah, anyway, I feel like that was kind of a side tangent because we need to talk about like what raving specifically means to you. Like, why did that suck you in? Like, for you personally, I kind of explained like the connection with like why I fell in love with it and how that started Fit to Rave in my business and stuff like that. But like, what about you?
I think the music is the love language thing is just like sticks out to me so much. I really enjoy when a song or a vibe comes through with the song of whatever type, whether I know it or I don't, and I see someone loving it as much as I do, or just vibing and they're so into it, you catch the vibe, you catch the energy. And there's research on all of these things regarding like mirror
Hmm.
neurons. And I just love that. So just being around people that share the same music connection.
Hmm.
And it's funny because sometimes you cannot explain it with words. Like when you understand a track from within, and then you meet someone that also gets that same exact track that you love,
Yeah.
or when an artist plays the song that you fucking love the most by them, or the remix specifically, and they hit it and you just fucking lose it. That is my favorite moment,
Hmm.
some of my favorite life moments.
Yeah.
And I just feel it. So I think it's just who I am. It just is genuinely something I enjoy. Obviously, it's a whole community in itself, but then there are all these sub communities, especially with flow artists. You
That's
have
true.
shufflers,
Yeah.
the hoopers, the people playing with the orbits and the poi. And it is so cool to go and connect with somebody. Might be the only person that has the hoop or the only other person that's shuffling, but you can right then and there jump in if you have the experience, or you can just watch them and see that person expressing the music through their flow art. And I think that's amazing because it's talent. You get to see people show their talent and connect it with music. And I just think that's sick.
That's such a good point that, like, don't think I really thought about, especially from people like us, again, going back to, like, a creative family that just appreciates, like, all arts, music, like, actual physical art, like, like, visual arts, performing arts, like, all of that stuff. So I would have never, like, put it like that, but that's very true, where, like, you go to any other sort of a music event, like a rock concert, you're all enjoying the same music, so you vibe with people like that, right? But when you do EDM festivals or shows and you get immersed in that culture, like, yeah, the baseline, the entry level is collectively enjoying the same music, right? But
Mhm.
then underneath that, you have all of these other very creative, like some sort of creative or artistic outlet, like subgenres of like little pockets of things that you can connect, like very specifically connect with
Mhm.
people on. And so maybe for not every raver or people that attend shows or festivals, for them it could just be the music. And that's
And
already more
dancing.
than enough. You'll still make a connection. But for people who have more of a creative vibe, or that's something that they really like will connect on a deeper level with people, like for us, that's really cool because then you're like, okay, I'm already in this environment where I'm enjoying the music I love, but now I can connect with people. People will stick out to you that you're like, I want to go talk to her. So for you it's those kind of things which that will still I'll gravitate towards that. But it's also for me, it's like if someone else is fit or in shape, then we're kind of like drawn to each other. But the same thing for shuffling. I'm not into that to the level you are, but that stuff is really interesting to me. So I will go up and start talking to somebody that's doing something that I'm interested in or want to learn more about or anything like that. Or again, the fits, like the outfits. For some people that's not that serious, but for the people that take that seriously and that's part of it for them, you go up and start talking to other people who like have this really cool outfit that they're wearing
Yeah,
and then
that's
you
some, like, theater costume shit that they put together.
right,
That
right,
takes
or
a
like
lot
your
of effort.
makeup is so pretty or oh my god, your hair, those things that like we really appreciate more than the normal person appreciates. You don't tend to find those things at like a metal concert or if you do, you're not going to go talk to somebody about that because it's just like, "Oh, she's pretty." And you might be like, "Oh, you're pretty. I like your pants." But then it like ends there. That's it. Raving, it's like such a thing. It's part of the experience for a lot of people.
It's within the name because it's electronic dance music, so
Yeah.
literally dance, like, the ability to comfortably dance in front of others is a huge milestone for a
Yes.
lot of people, and I think
Yeah.
that I
Me
started getting
included.
yeah, to be comfortable because 'cause you're like it's such a mind-body thing because if you have that hesitation, you can't flow, and my husband did teach me that. Craig taught me that because he at some point hit that before I met him where he was like, "Look, I'm gonna be
Yeah, you have to
confident
just
and
not care.
dance." Yeah, and that was the secret though, is that you can't care in order to dance your best. You can't be thinking. It will inhibit something within you that you can't think about. And I learned that a little bit before I met him, but then I saw it when we went to Ultra for the first time. He totally just let loose and I was like feeling myself
Who are
like,
you?
"Oh, right? Like, who this?
Yeah,
You mine
yeah,
now." I'm just kidding.
right. But it's but that's attractive, like, that confidence level of, like, letting go like that is really attractive on both sides.
It
Men
feels
find it
amazing.
attractive, women find it attractive, like, letting go and, like, not to the point of, like, you're being, like, a total idiot, like, no situational awareness, like, not that kind
You
of letting go,
respect
but, like,
people's space.
the thing that you shouldn't be restricting yourself on, like, just if you just have confidence with it and just, like, let it go, and that's the kind of thing I never would have I didn't even wear crop tops until I after I started going to Ultra, like, at all. I was 32 before I wore a crop top, and there was no reason why.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have. I just didn't have the confidence in myself to do that. And I was the one holding me back. And I went there and I really can wear whatever I want. Like I can wear whatever I want. I'm the one holding me back. I need to just own it. It doesn't mean I can't like improve upon things, but in my own like I can want to do that. But I can wear this. Everybody else is wearing it and no one I'm not judging them. I'm not judging them like, "Oh, she shouldn't be wearing that." I've
Right.
never thought that. I've looked at someone and been like, "Hell yeah, like good for you." I
It's
wanna be able to
important.
wear that. Like I wanna be able to wear that with that level of confidence. And so it was inspiring to get to that place. And it's the same thing with like you said flow arts or dancing. Like I was someone who like even in a regular club, like I needed to be a little buzzed to dance with people. And
Totally.
you're
So
in a
many
crowd,
people.
like you're not even like people are not paying attention to you. And now, like, I don't care. I can be dead ass sober and I will dance. Like, it doesn't matter.
And that's the best feeling because you inspire other people after that.
Yeah,
Like, once you
because
start
everybody
doing it
but that's how it's literally like a pay it forward trickle down effect because other people inspired me or I would look at people and be like, I want to be like that. And you look around and no one's judging them. And if what I have learned, and this is part of the tie-in with gyms, another side tangent is like everybody kind of gets like gym anxiety at some
true.
point. We all go through it. I still go through it if I'm in a new gym where you're like, oh my God, I look like an idiot. People are judging me. I'm not doing it right. Like you kind of go through all of that when you just do it, the more you do it, you realize that for the most part, people are just worried about themselves. They're not paying attention to you in the way that you think they are, and if they are, it's usually positive, it's not most people are actually nice and good, and if they're not, this is what I've learned in the gym and festivals and pretty much anywhere, if what they're thinking or saying is not positive, and you're literally not doing anything other than just being yourself, like, fuck him. I
Right.
don't
You can't
care about
control
your
that.
opinion. If you're just being an asshole, like a judgy asshole for literally no reason when I'm not doing anything to you, I don't care about your opinion of me.
That's
So like
on them anyway.
when you reach that like mentality, you can go to a festival and do whatever you want. Like if you're gonna think something negative, I don't care about your opinion. If you're gonna think something positive, like cool, but I'm gonna do me. You're just much more confident in like doing that sort of stuff. So I
And that's
don't think
everybody at the festival. They're
yeah.
they're they're just doing them and like
They're
you
just
do
doing
you.
them, and
So
that
good.
putting out that kind of vibe will attract the people to you that are meant to, like, be in your life. That's how you
Be in
make
your
your
community.
friends, and that's like, you'll go up to people that are giving out a vibe that you're like, something about that person I like, I wanna go talk to them. It works the same way, so it makes you wanna do it. So definitely the more I got into it, changed my personality, but and kind of like how I operate, but in a good way. When I say changed, I don't it's not like I have become something that I wasn't always. It allowed these parts of me that I was just always holding back just out of fear, just
Mhm.
being a chicken about it, being overly concerned about how people were going to perceive me or worried about being judged for stuff. It allowed that to kind of let go because you realize that these are just incorrect stories you're making up in your head and you're the one holding yourself back. So it allowed me to become more confident just in general. Like that in the gym, pushing through weird thoughts in my own head that were holding me back, both in the gym and raving, both those things together have made me a more confident person. They've just walked hand in hand. And, you know, I don't know, that's because I kind of came to them at the same time and they fed into each other, but they've both probably equally helped me become more confident, more carefree. And it's that has changed how I am and how I present myself, but not because I don't think I didn't always want that. I just didn't know how to like get
Uh,
there. And this allowed me like the avenue to get there.
Definitely. I think for me, I have experienced that as well. Just going to a little side tangent about like also the anticipation of events is so fun to me. Like I realized that especially in 2020 when we were like waiting
Mhm.
for festivals to come back. And
Mhm.
finally they did. Like the lead up to that was so exciting. And it gave me motivation to try to shuffle. It gave me just like I was so hyped on the energy from listening to music. And it just is exciting. I don't know how to explain that feeling when you have an event to look forward to, whether you're going to a lot of events or just have one. And I just went to Elements, and that was our one festival that we had in a year and a half because we're young parents. And the anticipation was so exciting. But, I also was able to tolerate a full 3-day festival, into my second trimester because I'm on your programs.
Freaking
So this all
awesome.
ties together. Like I'm walking thousands of steps a day and I'm vibing for hours and belly's out. It's not, and it
Hell yeah.
sounds like, "Oh, yeah, sure," but, like, no, I mean, it's legit a long-ass day, like, a long-ass
Mhm.
weekend. I was camping, and all of that I attribute to tying these 2 things together, like, maintaining a
Mhm.
healthy lifestyle so that I can actually have the endurance and ability to not only walk around a festival, but also to dance the whole time.
Right.
That's a lot of energy burning.
That is it. That is the whole balance thing is like quit looking at these things as things that cannot exist in the same world with each other. Because if you tie them together, they enhance each other. Like the gym and caring about your fitness is going to enhance your festival experience, not take away from it if you're learning the balance of it. Doing these festival things is going to allow you to take your fitness seriously, but not so seriously that you become like obsessive over it and like can't ever have fun. Like this is your fun outlet. So like you need both things. Even if it's not festivals, like, you can have your whatever, but you need to have, like, this fun element in your life. It can't all be disciplined
Work.
and serious all the time. Like, you have to at the end goal is, like, you just get one shot at this. You get one shot at life. So why
True.
not make your body like, see what kinda cool shit your body can do. How strong can it be? How fast can it get? How shredded can you get if that's your goal? Why not see how much cool shit you can do with your body, and why not see how much cool stuff you could do with your life. You don't choose one or the other. Figure out how to get them connected. And so I feel like both me and you, that's is what we do. That is like the main effort of who we are as people. And
Yeah,
so to
I'm
kind
working
of
for the
like
fat ticket.
yeah, like, to move into like, the fact that we both understand that very well made us closer, like, as cousins, like, we were already close, we talked about that before, but, like, having this connection and this understanding of, like, all this stuff that we just talked about just now made us closer, and then
Similar priorities,
yeah, similar
how we
priorities.
shape our, like, day to day and, like, our whole year is oriented around this.
Right, right. So, like and then I start my business around this, and you're like a key component in my business because you've been there from the beginning because we had this connection with like fitness and raving, but you're a physical therapist. So you help me out. You actually help me out and my clients out a lot. And then
Festival
you
goers and shufflers, everybody get injured also.
yeah,
That's like
yeah, and I don't have a doctorate in physical therapy, like, my knowledge is limited to what a personal trainer knows, and I'm not afraid to say that. So, like, you've been a key, like, player in this, so it's business-wise that has strengthened our relationship.
when you go to a festival, and this is for any type of festival, I don't think it's just exclusive to electronic music. But, examples like Suwannee. Suwannee is a great festival because it has a little bit of everything. It has a little
Mhm,
bit of bluegrass. It has a little bit of you know house music
like
and
a
all
mixed
kinds of things.
genre type thing.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
spectrum. And what's cool about that is that, I mean, you get to experience so many different artists and so many different types of music within the same event. So, yes, going to an exclusive event for just trance, techno, house, all that, that is great because then you can really immerse yourself in that vibe. But I love just the efficiency of going to a festival and getting to have the opportunity to not just see two artists for the night or three artists. It's like you can see a bucket full. Like it's
Mhm,
that to me is just is so worth the money and the investment, you know? It's interesting to experience different subgenres, of any type, whether
mhm.
you like bass, dabble in bass a little bit, because you dance completely different to those
Yep,
genres. And
yep.
so that's a whole discovery in itself. Like you're
Mhm.
throwing hands and throwing your body with bass.
Not a headbanger.
Trance. Trance, you might be crying a little.
I trance, you just sit in a cuddle puddle and cry. You don't really
Yes,
dance.
for real. Hold your heart.
You're just like
Yes. And then techno is like, like making the stank face, just throwing punches. Yeah, there's definitely an interesting crowd at each of these different types of music. But then there's so much blending now. There's like so many subgenres come together and like play off of each other. And I just love that a lot of artists are taking these songs that I loved from like the early 2000s and remixing them and bringing them back. Like it's so fun to hear that
mhm,
happen. So
yeah,
I just love everything about the music creation itself and vibing to an artist that has a certain energy and watching them put their music out. I just don't think there's anything better than that in terms of how I
yeah,
could spend my free time. So
yeah, yeah.
overall, love it.
We've kind of touched on how what sucked us in, how that has affected, like, how that's gone hand in hand with fitness, how that's affected business endeavors, but how it's affected our relationship with each other, how we connect with other people, but how does it affect us as mothers, as parents? So you started talking about like motherhood, so I'll let you. I feel like I keep going in first, so I'll let you talk about that first, and then I'll like say my piece on it.
Well, I mean, specifically to me and my husband and you and your husband, like we use this as an opportunity for a getaway and like time alone, time together, time away from the kids. So it's our like little vacations together, right? So that's how it serves us now. It's just so important to us to have something to look forward to that we vibe and connect genuinely through music. It's just how we are. But when you do take time away from your kids and it's scary at first and you help me get through this multiple times when I'm anticipating leaving my son and you help guide me through like the feelings and what's normal, but also like having to sort of just compartmentalize and leave it at home because you need to come back to yourself. It's healthy, it's good for them. He gets to hang out with his grandma and grandpa. I love that when I was a kid. It's the
Mhm.
same thing. And it's
Yeah.
important for them to have time away. And then you miss them and have a better. I felt when I came back from elements such a reset in my
Mhm.
patience and my tolerance for all the things that were happening. And I was losing it right up to that festival. I was like, just so I don't want to say overstimulated, but wound up over time because I had not had a break. So I just feel like it does make me a better mom to have something to look forward to. And also, when I'm there, it's literally therapeutic. All the
Mhm.
dancing, all the vibes,
Mhm.
all of it. So it's not just the away time, it's the whole experience itself is actually therapeutic. From the
Mhm.
dancing to the people to the connection with my husband, it all just serves that purpose of coming home and being reset and rejuvenated.
Mhm. Percent. Like all of those things are also true for me. This could be like a whole episode. I feel like the like how in depth I could go about like this part of it. I can't speak for people who are not stay at home mothers. Everybody's hard they're all separate but equal. So there's pros and cons to being a stay-at-home mom, there's pros and cons to being a working mom. So
Mhm.
from a stay-at-home mom standpoint, so I got my degree, I worked for a little bit, and then my what I wanted to do, this is different for everybody, but my goal was when we have children, as long as we can afford it financially, I don't wanna work, I wanna be home with them. We were fortunate enough to where, like, that worked out for our family, and I was able to stay home, which I'm very, very thankful for because that is what I wanted. I wanted to be able to stay home with them. And at least for me, though, one of the cons, again, this is not me bitching about being a stay-at-home mother because it's something I wanted, but that doesn't mean that there are things that are not difficult with this thing you choose, right? We choose
True.
things all the time that we want, but there's still like negatives to those. It's not all sunshine and rainbows for pretty much anything. So like the con of it is like you don't get any adult contact outside of like, if you do play groups, which I would do that. I started a running, I joined a running club and that was my outlet. And that's before I started lifting weights. I was doing stroller wears. I was in a running club because I could talk to other grown-ups and have my kid. I didn't have to get a babysitter. But even then, that's still like you're connecting with other parents while your child is there. So you're still having to mom it, like constantly interrupted. Your brain is never disconnected from making sure your child doesn't run into the street or break somebody's furniture if you're out there. You're always still like, you're
You're on
never
alert.
like off of the mom thing when you're doing that stuff. So you don't get a lot of grown up connection or time to yourself to pursue any sort of passion necessarily. I mean, you can, but at least for me, I was someone who didn't really have like a hobby or a passion. Once I got into fitness and lifting weights later, it became that, but that was directly tied to raving. So these are like both of these things I became like really passionate about at the same time. So I
Mhm.
didn't have like a passion as a stay-at-home mom until I found these things. That by the time I found those things, this was on the 3rd kid. So I had developed the skill of being okay with leaving them for date nights. And so kind of like backtracking it a little bit, when you become a parent, it's advice me and my husband give everybody when they first get married or when, and they know they want to have kids one day is when you start your family, everyone has this natural urge to put the baby first above your spouse.
Mhm.
And in many ways, in some ways that has to happen. Like you have to take care of this helpless thing that has to be the priority, obviously, because it can't take care of itself. But what I mean by that, what you don't want to do ever is like at least emotionally put that child above your spouse. And you have to constantly check yourself because that doesn't come natural. Like your urge as a new parent is to prioritize everything towards the baby. And then you kind of let each other and your relationship go. It's just no matter how much you love each other and how strong you are, it's just a natural tendency that tends to happen. So if you stay aware of that, you have to actively make it a point to check in with each other and spend time with each other and set time aside for each other. And so before I even got into raving, like we would still go, me and Kenny would still go out to concerts and like do date nights. They were very infrequent. It was like once a month and then got a little bit more frequent. Going out on an overnight date never happened unless we have, family watching them. And it
Mhm.
takes a lot of time, especially when you're a new mom, because you're like, I'm not going to trust just anybody with my kid. And we were military family, so I was never around my family. So it's like, how do I get a babysitter? Because I don't know anybody here. So it took some
Scary.
time, but we actively like, you have to teach yourself to leave your kid every once in a while and spend time with just each other, working on just your relationship. So that was the first thing. So that was always a priority for us. But
Mhm.
as far as like my own passion, my thing that I like wanted to do, I didn't really have one until I found raving. And so the way that that's affected me as a parent is that is our mommy daddy time away. For one, that's our thing that we do together. So that's important. But as far as overcoming like the mom guilt of leaving your children, you have to do that for so many reasons. Like, for one, if it's something you do with your spouse, then you're feeding your relationship. So you're doing something together. You're also showing your children that your marriage, your relationship with the other parent, well, whether you're the dad and, the relationship with your wife or vice versa, that is top priority. And I know that sounds terrible to tell your kids. Like, you guys are not number one. It's like
No, you need to
how
hear
you
that
say it really
though.
matters. But it's like your children will learn so much more by understanding that the center of the universe is not them. The world does not revolve around them. Whether you have 1 child or 10 children, like, they need to know that, like, your world, while they can be your world, it's so hard to explain. They're my whole world. I would do anything for my children, but they
Right.
are not the only thing that exists in it.
Major key for their own personal development, so they're not.
It's for their own personal development. They need to learn that for their own personal development, that they are not the center of the universe, but they also need to learn that their parents are also people. Like, yes, we're your mom and your dad, and you need to respect that first and foremost, but we have passions, we have hobbies, we have things we enjoy, we like to go out and have fun, because that is teaching them something about me as a person, but also how they're gonna become parents one day.
Right.
People It is so easy to lose yourself in motherhood or parenthood. I mean, I'm sure dads can do it too. I think mothers have more of a tendency for that to happen because
All consuming.
they tend to be the nurturers. Like, there's always exceptions, but I'm not talking about the exception. I'm talking about the rule. Mothers are the nurturers for the most part. If someone stays home, it tends to be the mom. So it's very easy, especially as someone who didn't have a passion to begin with or a hobby to begin with, to lose yourself in motherhood and not even know who you are or what you like anymore. And if you've gotten to that point, what do you think is going to happen to your relationship? Like the person who started all of this with you, if you no longer even know what you like or who you are. So it is really, really crucial and important, and it's only going to make you a better spouse and a better parent if you don't deny yourself or restrict yourself from having those passions and those hobbies and those times away. It's not going to make you a work like it's actually going to be more hurtful if you don't do those things than it will if you leave your child every once in a while.
You need to strengthen the relationship, and that just
Yeah.
strengthens the whole family, it strengthens the child because their foundation is solid.
Yeah, they're like, "My parents love each other and they love spending time together and they go off and do all these fun things," and it's not like the child is actively thinking like, I know I'm not the center of their universe," like, it's not like that. It's a positive thing. They're like, "My parents are freaking cool, like, they go out and have fun. I wanna do that one day when I'm married and have a family." Because it's not like we don't do stuff with our kids. That we do things with them too. We do a lot of family stuff, so it's not like we do this, but we don't do that. But I want them to have that kind of marriage where they are still always putting each other first
Mhm.
so that enriches the kind of, like, environment that their children are raised in, that their children can see that their parents actually like each other and like spending time together and, like, have this really fun thing that they do and have passions and, my mom, that they can look at me and be like, "My mom is my mom," like, and she was a great mom, but that wasn't her whole identity. She had all these other things that she was good at and that she really liked doing. Like, that is important. I want them to look at me like that, and I want
You're
them
a
to
human
see.
being, you're not.
Yes. I want them to see that that's how it should be for them, that when you become a parent, it is not the end of the world or the end of all the other things that you like. It will be the best, hardest, most rewarding, most heartbreaking job you ever have when you become a parent, and it will never end. It will be the one thing that you do that you will do until the day that you die. Like, I will be there. I will not, I can stop being a trainer and I can stop being a raver. I will never stop being their mother, ever. It is the most important
True.
thing. But it is not the only thing that I do. It's the most important. It is not the only thing. And that is really hard to balance. It's really hard. And I'm not saying that it's not gonna come without anxiety and mom guilt, but the only way out is through. Like, you have to do the thing. You have to go to the festival. You have to do a one-day fest, and then you have to do the overnight thing, and then the weekend away. Like, you have to slowly rip the Band-Aid off if you have to, but do what you're comfortable with, but stop feeling guilty about it because it's not gonna make it worse. It's gonna make it better. Like, it's only gonna make it better if you can, give yourself permission to, like, do this thing that you love. Your kids are gonna be okay, and they're actually gonna learn way more from it in a positive direction than if you don't do anything for yourself ever, and it's only all for them. Like, that's not gonna be helpful for them
Well, yeah,
or your
because then you're
mom.
pouring from an empty cup, and
Yeah.
then you
Yeah,
yes, you
and then
can't
there's that
hold
side of
yourself
it.
up.
You come back, like you said, and you're, like, rejuvenated because you did this thing that you really loved, and now you're more patient, and you, like, you're not gonna be as burnt out as a mom. So, it's only gonna be a net positive. So you have to push past the mom guilt. Like, yes, that will happen, but like I told you, when you go out, you have to look at it like you have all these like boxes in your brain and like learn to compartmentalize, which that's very hard in general for women to do. I've taught myself how to do it with like multiple different things, and going out, for time away from my kids becomes easier for a couple of reasons. The more you do it, it becomes easier. It becomes easier as they get older and, more self-sufficient. You're a little less worried about them when you leave them with, their grandparents or whoever is watching them.
Well, it leads to a healthier mindset because that way you aren't feeling like you have to be a martyr to
Mhm.
be a good mother. And that is another topic, which is, oh, you don't do anything for yourself, then therefore, oh, you do only things for your kids, and that's when you're a good mother.
Mhm.
Hell no, because if I don't take care of myself, if I eat like crap, if I don't exercise, I'm actually not the best version of me. In fact, the worst version of me. And I'm not saying you have to go balls to the walls all the time, but
Mhm.
that type of mentality is for some reason instilled in, I don't know if it's our culture, just in humanity in general, because we're nurturing and we do go all in
Mhm.
and it's just love, endless love that we have for our kids and our family. But it wears on you and we are limited. We are not this, I can't outpour love like absolute 24/7 and care and discipline, all that stuff without looking at myself because I'm a human. Like I have needs. I need to shower on the daily. Like I need to eat food. I need to do shit for myself to survive beyond survival. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully you have that ability. And so, yeah, I just think that it's a mindset that needs to be
You're a
shifted.
better mom. Now, again, I don't work in extremes. I'm not talking about people that are going out partying all the time, like,
Right.
and neglecting their children. That's a problem.
For sure.
But it's like,
Yes.
don't feel guilty for you planning this festival like once every 6 months that you're away from your kids. Like feel a normal amount of guilt and work through it. And that's what I was gonna say was like how I have learned to compartmentalize this stuff over time because it takes practice, especially at least for me, with a stay-at-home mom, you're with your kids all the time. Like
Hmm.
I feel, and I could be totally wrong. I feel like a working mom, maybe the way they deal with mom guilt is different because they've already had to work through it. They have to go to work. They have to leave their kids. They probably don't want to do that. Like, so maybe they have an easier time going away to a festival or not, or maybe the way that they have to work through whatever that guilt is different than someone who's a stay at home mom. But when you stay at home with your kids 20, it's hard to trust somebody else with them. You get a little like frantic about that. But then
Right.
like you're with them all the time. So as much as you might want to leave to have a break and not get burnt out, you still like really miss them and think about them constantly when you're away because that's what you're doing all day long is
Yeah,
like,
I think working moms get that as well. They have it
yeah.
just it's but I think the thing that is different is the higher level of comfort likely with leaving them
Mhm.
with someone else. I think that's
Right.
definitely
Like,
there because
or
they
maybe
have to figure that out.
the things that they worry about might be framed a little differently, than, so it's like they have other worries or the way they worry about it is different. So yeah, I'm definitely not saying they don't have this, but like
Or no.
when your day is consumed by your children, it might be a little bit harder in certain ways for you to go away for 3 days when like that's literally your job is like entertaining them and feeding them and taking care of them all day long, especially when your children are small. So
Right.
the way that I worked through that mom guilt was for one, like it's hard in the beginning, but you got to do it. And the more you do it, like with each trip, I'm not saying go out more frequently, but necessarily, but each time you do these trips away, it becomes a little bit easier. But you have to think of it like, start putting things in boxes in your brain when you're away. So like it's like you have the baby or the child box, your children box in your brain when you're at a festival, and you can acknowledge that the box is in the room. Like you're never going to forget that the box exists. You're just not. When you're a parent, you're never going to not be aware that your kids are across the country or in a different or wherever they are in
They
comparison
exist.
to like where you are. You're never going to stop being a mom. You have that awareness. The box is here, right? In my child box, like hope they're doing okay. Don't open the box. Just know the box is there. Don't open the box unless grandma calls and the box needs to be opened. But like
Yeah.
be aware it's there, but don't leave it alone. The box is in the room, box is fine. No news is good news. Like don't touch the box. Go
Yep.
have fun. The box will be there waiting for you to come back. And it will stick to you like glue once you come back.
It will attack you and knock you
It'll
over.
attack you. It'll attack you and ask for a snack right away. Don't you worry.
The moment I get home,
The moment you get
"Nana,
home.
apple." Like, dude, you just ate dinner. It doesn't
Like,
matter. As long as it's sweet.
you're holding something that you're eating right now. Why are you asking me for food?
Oh my gosh, it happens every time. That's so true though, and I think too, like, it's also this mental discipline of like, okay, if I let myself start spiraling, I am gonna now it's this like I'm working against myself. I'm gonna
Yeah,
not
I'm not
only
even gonna
ruin my
enjoy this thing I came to enjoy, so, like, now I've ruined my time, and I'm not around my kids, and I feel bad, like, this sucks. So,
yeah,
yeah,
fuck that.
you can't do that, like, you can't. Your kid is gonna be okay. Your kid is
Mhm.
gonna be okay, even if they missed you and acted up the whole time, like, they probably need to go through that. They probably need to go through that then to teach them, like, "I'm gonna come back, but I need my time
Exactly.
away. Trust me, like, the older you get, this will make sense, and they'll appreciate that as long as you weren't some absent parent partying every weekend, again, that like, "Oh, you know what? Like, that's what I wanna do, like, that my parents did that, and I had a great childhood, like, I didn't feel neglected because my mom and dad went away to a festival every once in a while." So, I think that it's beneficial, and yes, there's gonna be mom guilt, but there are ways to work through it.
Right, you don't
And
wanna run away from the mom guilt or the uncomfortable feelings because, like, they gonna keep coming, whether you're going to
Right.
a festival or not.
Don't let that mom guilt stop you from going and experiencing this thing that you love because that's like super important to have in your life to not lose those parts of yourself because at the end of the day, and again this goes back to the advice that we give people when they get married and we know they want to have kids, like always put each other first. That's not to say like neglect your children, but your relationship has to always be tended to. It has to come first because if you do the job you're supposed to do as parents, your children are going to grow up and leave you. They're not going to be living with you forever. And if
Mm,
you haven't nurtured your relationship, where are you going to be in 18 years or her 25 years and however many kids you have and the last one leaves and you've never like
exactly.
you haven't been like actively feeding that relationship and going out and remembering why you fell in love and like doing things together, just together. Because if you're not doing that, if you're waiting until they grow up to do that, like you won't even know each other by the time that happens.
But
And or know
yourself
what they
too.
like or yourself. You won't even know yourself. So like that's why a lot of people end up getting divorced once their kids are gone because they just their identity was parents. They didn't do anything for each other or their relationship. And then their kids leave and they're looking at each other like, do I even love you
Yep.
anymore? Like, I don't even know who you are. I don't even know who I am because all I was for the last 20 years was a mom. So you can't do that. Your kids are going to leave you and start their own life. That's what they're
Right.
supposed to do. So play the long game with this. I know it's hard when you're like in the thick of parenting babies and toddlers and stuff, but play the long game with yourself and your spouse.
'Cause this is a marathon.
This is a marathon. It feels like in the first few years, like it's taking forever, but trust me, it goes by fucking fast. It goes by so fast. And then you're there. It's so important to make sure that you are still connecting with each other, that you're still recognizing even individually that you have other things about yourself outside of parenting because it goes by fast and you don't want to be here in 20 years like not knowing who you are or who each other are or what you like or what you're going to do because all you did was mom shit. You have to push past the guilt, and you shouldn't ultimately feel guilty about this at all, is because whether you're a stay at home parent or a working parent, most of your brain power through most of the hours of the day are consumed by the fact that you are a parent. You're working to provide so you can pay for soccer, so you can buy them clothes, so you can do this, and you're organizing your schedule based on like your kids' stuff. Your brain, even with the things that don't involve your kids, are still wrapped around the fact that you have children and a family and things to do. And what are you cooking for dinner? And I got to go like all of your brain power is put towards that. It's okay if every once in a while you shut that off, like on a date night with your husband or your wife, and you don't talk about them. You talk about something else, or you go to a festival for 3 days and you don't really worry about them or think about them. Like the box is there, but you're not opening it. You see what I'm saying? Like that takes practice. So you shouldn't feel guilty about that because most of your life is consumed by them indirectly or directly. So like it's okay if you take this time away because it's still such a it's a small but like important part. We'll stop here for now and probably continue this conversation in another episode, I'm sure. So that's all for episode 2. We'll see you guys next time.